Hi all, I'm Raghav and this is my Unity Fundamentals Self-Round-1 Assignment-7, and today I'm going to explain about what are vector 2 and vector 3 in Unity, and when onDisable method gets called in Unity, and what are the use cases of onDisable method. So what are vector 2 and vector 3 in Unity? So vector 2 and vector 3 are mathematical structures or data types that are used to represent points or directions in 2D and 3D space respectively. So vector 2 is represented with x and y components, and it often used to represent position, direction, size, etc. in 2D space. Similarly, on the other hand, vector 3 has x, y, and z components, and it is used to represent position, direction, and sizes in 3D space. So let's see an example of vector 2 and vector 3. So over here you can see this is a 3D space, and these are x, y, and z components, and this is vector 3 in 3D space. So when I switch back to in 2D space, yeah, so these are x and y components in 2D space. So this is vector 2. So in 2D space it is represented by vector 2, and in 3D space it is represented by vector 3. So coming back to the second question, uh, when does onDisable method gets called in Unity, and what are the use cases of onDisable method? So onDisable method is a method that is automatically gets called when monobehavior script is disabled or deactivated. So it is a part of monobehavior lifecycle and is triggered under specific circumstances when we deactivate a game object or when we deactivate a component. So we can deactivate a game object by calling the method set active, and in parameters we can give it to false, or we can deactivate a game object by simply clicking this checkbox in the inspector window like this. So onDisable method gets called in this case. And on second condition, if we want to deactivate a component, so we can deactivate a component by simply just clicking the checkbox in the inspector over here, or we can just just say that call the is dot enabled is equals to false in monobehavior script. So in those two conditions, onDisable method will get called. So use cases for onDisable method are that it can there are various use cases. First of all, that it can stop a particle effect. Suppose we are creating a particle effect, and we attach the particle effect to a game object, and the particle effects represent explosion. So when the explosion animation finishes playing, then we can just disable the particle effects by calling onDisable method. Second use case would be by pausing timers or countdowns. So if you have a script that manages timers and countdowns, you can use onDisable method to pause the timer and countdown associated with the game object. So uh, as, so the timer and counting will be disabled, and it prevents it prevents the timer from counting, and it prevents from unnecessary calculations while it is disabled. So next is we can unsubscribe an event. So it is used to unsubscribe an event listener or event-driven systems when script is disabled. So ensuring that script doesn't receive any events or callbacks while it is inactive. And last thing would be that saving a state of data. So when we disable a game object, we can just save the data, and we can when we the game object becomes activated again, we can just continue from that point, or we can just call that same data again. It will ensure a seamless experience for the player as well. That's all. Thank you.